Why would I work on loneliness, and who the hell am I to do this work anyway? Yuma and welcome. I'm Phil McAuliffe. I'm the loneliness guy, and this is episode 1 of Connection Espresso. Join me now over an espresso for a quick thought on loneliness and the importance of authentic connection for you as a gay man experiencing loneliness. Let's jump right on in. Welcome, YouTube. Great to see you. If you were listening to the podcast now, you would hear the sound of the coffee machine like you would normally hear on my podcast, my longer form podcast, Connection over Coffee. Anyway, sound's finished now. Let's jump right on in. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the first episode of this mini podcast, Connection Espresso. This series contains very short episodes designed to give your mind, your heart, and your soul a quick connection boost as you go about your day. This series is designed to supplement my podcast, Connection Over Coffee, which has longer solo episodes and conversations with amazing gay men, and is designed for you to sit with me and my guests to enjoy a real conversation like you would when joining friends for coffee in a cafe. While it's always good to slow down and enjoy a coffee and a conversation, I understand that sometimes we just don't have time. So in Connection Espresso, I'll share a few thoughts on a particular topic, a question for you to ponder within a few minutes. At the end of each episode, there'll be an invitation for you to connect with me for more information or to share your thoughts with me. For now, just as we do in Connection Over Coffee, I want to acknowledge two things. First, I want to acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders of the Ngunnawal people, both past, present, and emerging, as the traditional owners of the land upon which this episode was recorded, edited, and uploaded. I want to extend that acknowledgement to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening. Secondly, I want to acknowledge you, dear listener of the podcast and viewer on YouTube. I want to recognize the courage you have shown in pressing play on this episode, because I know that very few gay men look for content on loneliness unless they recognize that they also feel lonely. This is a big step. Simply pressing play is a big step. And I want to say that I see it, I see you, and I recognize your courage. Okay, are you ready? Let's jump on in. The topic for this episode is why loneliness? Why me? These are questions that I often ask myself, trust me. Like not often, all the time ask myself. Loneliness is a tough topic upon which to speak and write. I often joke that I'd have far more fun if I was to write a blog, have a podcast and social media content talking about sexy, sweaty firefighters holding puppies. But I'm me, and I'm driven by purpose and the desire to help and support you and other gay men experiencing loneliness. I'm driven to destigmatize loneliness and promote authentic connection for gay men globally. There are 3 reasons why I do this work. And the first reason is I know what it's like to feel lonely. Indeed, I know what it's like to feel nothing. And I know what it's like to not have the words to describe the really messed up range of emotions and terrible thoughts that we think and the emotions that we feel, and not really know how to describe them beyond, you know, feeling very confused and like confused in our soul and confused in our mind, and knowing that we say and do all sorts of things when we're in a state of loneliness, that when we sort of take a step back, go, why did we do that? Why did we do that? I want to say right now that I know what it's like. I know what it's like to think the thoughts. I know what it's like to feel the feelings. And for me, loneliness quite often shows up as the absence of feeling, the absence of wanting to connect with people, but knowing that I want to, but also don't want to connect with people. I want to be seen, but I don't want anyone to see me. And it's a real kind of tension when I'm in feeling lonely during a bout of loneliness, that nothing kind of soothes, nothing kind of takes the edge off. And then when someone says, what's wrong? You don't know what's wrong. You know, you don't feel that you're depressed, don't feel anxious, but it's just nothing. So I know what it's like to feel lonely. I know what it's like to not have those words to describe it. And I know what it's like to desperately want to be seen, want to be included, but crazily to turn people away. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that I know that so many gay men experience loneliness. I know that I'm not alone. And listener, viewer, you are not alone either. So many of us gay men experience loneliness, and because we don't really know what it's like, we don't have the language, and we can't really describe it. We don't engage on it. We don't engage on it. And loneliness is a powerful behavioral driver, and it drives the behavior of so many of us gay men. And it really, we would do well to understand it. We would do well. What kind of a way is that to say that? We really need to understand why we think these thoughts and feel these feelings, because when we understand it, we can shine a light on those thoughts and feelings. We can question things, see if they're true or not true. Generally, they're not true. And we can then, with awareness, do something about it. But we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it as gay men. We don't talk about loneliness at all. And it's ironic because we're beginning to have great conversations within communities about other mental health issues and mental well-being issues. We talk about we talk about depression, we talk about anxiety, but we don't really yet talk about loneliness. And loneliness kind of, feeds anxiety. Loneliness can feed it, can go into depression. So for me, that's the second reason why I do this work. And then the third reason goes to why me? Why me? And this is a question that I ask myself pretty much daily. And the answer very quickly goes, why not? Why not me? I've been through loneliness. I know what it's like to feel chronic loneliness. There's a whole lot of content on my site which tells the story of my loneliness. But long story short, I was living the life. I was married to a beautiful woman. I have a couple of awesome children. I had a great job and I was living overseas and fantastic holidays, but I didn't know why I was so empty, why nothing seemed to make me feel better. Or if I did do something, it didn't, the good feeling didn't last for long. And I just want to say really simply, I've been there. Sometimes I do go back there, but with a whole lot of work within myself, a whole lot of support from others, a whole lot of working through thoughts and feelings and questioning them with curiosity and self-love, which sounds lovely, but let me tell you, it was fucking hard work, but it's always worth it. It's just been so worth it. And so what I'm doing here at The Loneliness Guy is I'm absolutely driven, I'm committed to providing the same service, or providing the service and the support that I wish I had when I was working out why I was lonely, when I accepted the inconvenient truth that I was lonely. So that's the answer to those two questions. Why loneliness? Why me? And those three answers were, I know what it's like to be lonely. And I know that so many gay men around the world experience loneliness. And I'm driven, I'm called to provide help and support because, thirdly, I am providing the service and the support that I wish that I had when I realized that I was lonely. And there wasn't that much that spoke to me online. That's why I'm here. So that's it for this first episode of Connection Espresso. Check out all my work destigmatizing loneliness and promoting authentic connection for gay men globally through my website, thelonelinessguy.com. Remember to please like, comment, and share this episode so it reaches more gay men experiencing loneliness and lets them know, just as you now know, that they're not alone as a gay man experiencing loneliness. My work is listener supported. So if this episode supported you, inspired you, made you think, or otherwise helped you, please tap the link in the show notes to buy me a coffee. Your financial contribution will go directly to growing the Loneliness Guy to reach more gay men. And I thank you in advance for your generosity and for your support. And I thank you for joining me for this shot of espresso. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and take care of your communities. That's it. That's it. Thanks so much for joining me. Please do reach out if you've got any questions, comments, feedback. Love it. Can't wait to see you for episode 2 or any of the other content here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much. I'll see you later.